My name is Faiza. The day I married Ali, I truly believed I was stepping into forever. My heart swelled with hope as I whispered my vows, imagining the life we would build together. A home filled with laughter, children, and unwavering love. When our son, Ibrahim, was born 9 months later, I felt complete. I poured myself into motherhood, nurturing our child while supporting Ali in every way I could. But forever shattered far too soon. One evening, as I rocked Ibrahim to sleep, Ali entered the room with a coldness I had never seen before. His words were clinical, detached. "I divorce you. I divorce you. I divorce you." 3 times. Just like that. My world collapsed.
Why?
I sobbed, clutching our sleeping baby. What did I do wrong? Please, Ali, tell me what I can fix. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "It's not working," he muttered. "You need to leave." Within days, I found myself back at my mother's house, broken, humiliated, and confused. I replayed every moment of our marriage, searching for the mistake I must have made. Had I not been a good enough wife? Was I too demanding? Not attentive enough? The questions tortured my sleepless nights. 2 months passed in agonizing confusion. Then Umar appeared, Ali's distant cousin, a man I barely knew. He was kind, soft-spoken, and seemed genuinely concerned for me and Ibrahim. "I've admired you from afar," he said one day. "I can give you, and Ibrahim, a good home." Desperate for stability and still reeling from rejection, I agreed. What else could I do? I was a divorced woman with a child, and Umar seemed sincere. Perhaps this was all his plan for me, I thought. Perhaps this was my second chance at happiness. Our marriage was quiet and simple. Umar treated me respectfully, but something always felt hollow. There was no passion, no deep connection, just a strange, dutiful coexistence. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was living in someone else's story, playing a role I didn't understand. 6 months into my marriage with Umar, I received a call from Ali. My hands trembled as I answered. "I want you back," he said casually, as if asking me to pass the salt. "I made a mistake. You belong with me, and Ibrahim needs both his parents." My breath caught. "Ali, I'm married to Umar now. You divorced me. You can't just—" "It's halala," he interrupted. "Don't you understand? According to Islamic law, if a man divorces his wife and wants her back, she must marry another man and be divorced by him first. Then she can return to her first husband. That's why you married Umar." The words hit me like physical blows. My knees buckled. What? What are you saying?" "It was planned, Faiza," he continued coldly. "Umar agreed to marry you temporarily so that you and I could remarry properly. That's the law. Now he'll divorce you, and you'll come back to me." The phone slipped from my hand. Everything suddenly made sickening sense. Ali's sudden divorce, Umar's convenient proposal, the strange emptiness of my second marriage. I hadn't been a wife to either man. I had been a pawn in a religious loophole, a commodity passed between cousins to satisfy a legal requirement. I couldn't breathe. I had been used, manipulated. My body, my heart, my entire being had been reduced to a transaction between two men who never saw me as fully human. The shame was suffocating. For days, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I moved through Umar's house like a ghost, performing my duties mechanically while my mind screamed questions into the void. How could they do this? How could Allah want this? What am I worth if men can trade me like property? I thought of Ibrahim and wept. What example was I setting for my son? If I returned to Ali, what would that teach Ibrahim about women, about marriage, about respect? In my darkest moment, I called Emma, a Christian friend I had known since university. We'd often discussed our different faiths, always with mutual respect and curiosity. Through tears, I told her everything: the planned divorce, the temporary marriage, Ali's expectation that I would return. Emma was silent for a long time. Then she spoke with a gentleness that pierced through my despair. "Faiza, I need you to hear me. Christianity doesn't support this practice. Jesus never treated women this way. Never." "What do you mean?" I whispered. In the Bible, she said, Jesus elevated women when the culture around him degraded them. He spoke directly to women, taught them, defended them, valued them as full human beings made in God's image. He said that in God's eyes, there is neither male nor female. We are all equally precious to him. God doesn't see you as a tool for men to use to satisfy religious requirements. He sees you as his beloved daughter, worthy of dignity, respect, and genuine love. She continued, her voice steady and warm. Jesus said that marriage is sacred, one man and one woman becoming one flesh. It's not about legal loopholes or temporary arrangements. It's about covenant love that mirrors God's faithful love for us. No man has the right to manipulate you this way, Faiza. Not in God's eyes. Your worth isn't determined by whether Ali wants you back or whether Umar agrees to divorce you. Your worth was established by God before you were even born. I sobbed, not from despair this time, but from something I couldn't name, something that felt like hope. Then Emma read me a verse from Psalm 139. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. Faiza, she said softly, you are wonderfully made. You are not a bargaining chip. You are God's precious creation. That night, alone in my room, I did something I had never done before. I prayed to Jesus. I don't know if you can hear me, I whispered into the darkness. I don't know if you care about someone like me. But Emma says you see me as valuable. She says you give dignity. I have none left. I've been used and discarded and used again. If you're real, if you truly see me, please help me. What happened next is something I still struggle to explain. I felt a presence, warm, overwhelming, unlike anything I had ever experienced. It wasn't audible words, but somehow I knew. You are loved. You are seen. You are mine. Tears streamed down my face, but they were different this time. Cleansing, liberating tears. For the first time since Ali's divorce pronouncement, I felt like a whole person. Not a wife, not a mother, not a religious obligation, just Faiza, seen and loved exactly as I was. The next morning, I told Umar the truth. I knew about the arrangement, and I refused to be part of it anymore. I wouldn't return to Ali. I wouldn't allow myself to be traded between men like merchandise. To my surprise, Umar was gentle. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I never thought about how this would make you feel. I was just trying to help my cousin. The imam said it was permitted. It may be permitted, I told him, but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it loving. That doesn't honor my humanity. I moved back to my mother's house with Ibrahim. Ali was furious. He called me rebellious, ungrateful, sinful. His family condemned me. Many in my community shunned me for refusing to follow through with halala. But I had found something far more precious than community approval. I had found my dignity, and the God who gave it to me. Emma introduced me to a small church community that welcomed me with open arms. They didn't judge my past or my pain. They simply loved me as Jesus loved them, unconditionally, sacrificially, and genuinely. As I began reading the Bible, I discovered a God I had never known, a God who pursued the outcast, defended the vulnerable, and called himself the husband to the abandoned. In Isaiah 54, I found words that made me weep. Do not be afraid. You will not be put to shame. Do not fear disgrace. You will not be humiliated. You will forget the shame of your youth. For your Maker is your husband. The Lord Almighty is his name. Your Maker is your husband. Not Ali. Not Umar. Not any man who would use me for his convenience. God himself was my defender, my provider, my true bridegroom. Then I read the story of the Samaritan woman at the well, a woman who had 5 husbands and was living with a man who wasn't her husband. Jesus didn't condemn her. He didn't manipulate her. He offered her living water, dignity, restoration, and purpose. I remember whispering through tears, "That's me. I'm the woman at the well." And like her, I found new life. Today, I'm still growing in my faith. It hasn't been easy. I've lost relationships, faced opposition, and wrestled with deep questions. But I've also found peace that surpasses understanding, a community that truly sees me and a God who calls me beloved. Ibrahim is thriving, and I'm teaching him about a love that doesn't manipulate, a faith that honors dignity, and a God who sees every person as infinitely valuable. When people ask why I left Islam for Christianity, I tell them simply, Jesus restored what men had stolen: my dignity, my worth, my identity. I was treated as a commodity, but Jesus showed me I'm a treasured daughter. That changed everything. My story isn't about one religion versus another. It's about the universal human need to be seen, valued, and loved, not as a tool for someone else's purpose, but as a precious individual created in the image of God. And in Jesus, I found exactly that. How do cultural or religious practices sometimes conflict with human dignity? What does it mean to truly see and value every person as created in God's image? How can communities better support those who've been used or manipulated? Your story matters too. My journey, from manipulation to restoration, is a reminder that God sees, values, and loves each of us, no matter what we've experienced or where we've been. If my story resonates with you, or if you're on your own path of discovering Jesus' love and the dignity he offers, I hope you'll reach out. Your dignity matters. Your story matters. And Jesus sees you exactly as you are and loves you completely. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners. Isaiah 61 verse 1.